Okay, so let's start with the autoscaler service. Okay, now this autoscaler service, which I am talking about, it's more of like a extra service that you typically get on a BTP cockpit, especially for boosting your application performance. Okay, now what happens? I created a basic service. Okay, I created this CAPM project now. Now, currently, this application, as of now, if I'm just using so there is no impact on a CPU usage. There is no impact on how much of memory my application is consuming. Correct? There is no impact if one single user is going to use this application. But if at the same time, if at the same time, guys, if there are like more than 500 users, more than 1000 users are going to access the same application and your application will be slow, even the users who are going to access or if they are going to use any features from the application, so that might be slow or that will work slow. Correct? So all this affects the performance. Why? Because the memory, like let's take an example of RAM itself. Everyone is using computer, right, or a laptop. If we increase a RAM or if we have at least minimum 16 GB or 32 GB, so that is going to help us if we are going to access multiple apps in our system. It's going to help us, right? It will boost, at least like our system won't be slow. Whenever the system needs a memory, that memory will be available and the applications will work smoothly without any issue. But if RAM is already 70% or 80% utilized, and the application that you're going to access, again, that application needs at least the 50% of RAM. So what will happen in that case? Your application will work slow. There will be a lag on the screen, correct? All these issues will happen. Now to to avoid such kind of issues, especially on a BTP, especially on a cloud, so they have introduced a service with name Autoscaler. Okay. Now, if you go to Cockpit, especially under Service Marketplace, you will find an Autoscaler service. Okay, you can just search for Autoscaler. So you see what the title they have added, a basic application autoscaler, automatically increase or decrease the number of application instance, because you're working on a cloud foundry, and in cloud foundry every service is nothing but an instance, right? Now the instance that you need to run your application smoothly, that can be increased, that can be decreased dynamically based on the usage of your application. Okay, so if there are like 100 users who are going to use these applications, so your application autoscaler service will going to make sure that whenever an application needs an extra CPU or extra memory is required, automatically it's going to increase an instance for that. And if application is in ideal state, no one is using, automatically it will decrease the instance. So this is a dynamic handling and dynamic scaling of your application for the application. And it helps us to improve the performance. Second thing, it also helps us to manage your cost effectively on BTP. Okay, because you cannot like see what happens. Like I know that my application is going to be used 100, 1000 users. There are 1000 users and they are going to use my application. So is it a good practice that I should pay, like my application needs all the 10 instance and I have to pay all the 10 instance money now itself? Is it a good practice? Because always all not all 100 or 1000 users are going to use the app, right? Sometimes it can be 10 users, sometimes it can be like 50 users, sometimes it can be 500 users. Whenever my application needs, at that time only this services should be created and only that much of amount of cost should be charged to the customers. So that is a management of your services. That is a management of your cost that you can manage effectively, especially if you're going with application autoscaler. Now to understand it properly, guys, the application autoscaler, if you search for application autoscaler BTP, so you see there is a help document given for this. Okay, you can access this help document. No, sorry, not this one. It's the second one. You can open this help document and just you can scroll down. You see all the details are given here in this document. I will share the document with you. Okay. Scale your application to meet their dynamic resource needs. That is the main. Everything is given in this document, in this PDF, guys. How to create an instance. So this is just like a command base. Uh, the commands they have given, which you can follow. But I'm gonna show you a separate. Even the purpose of dashboard and all that is explained. Okay. So you can follow this document. One second, I'll just copy and I'll give you this link in the, I will paste one second, I'll just paste this link here. So now to configure this auto scalar service for our application, especially on a CAPM. So there are few things we have to do. Okay. So first go to the service marketplace, create an instance for this. Just create auto scalar instance and just click on create. Now you can see the instance is created. Okay, here autoscaler instance application autoscaler. Once the instance is created, now I will go back to the application, and now in application, see in when you create an instance for autoscaler, so you will be defining some policy.json file. Okay, now the document which I have opened, okay, there are like sample policy document they have given. So if you scroll down a little bit, yeah, you see this sample document here. Okay, like if my application is using like metric type memory used, threshold if 90 MB. So if it is goes then greater than, if it goes more than 90, it will create +1 instance. So maximum how many instance I'm allowing my application? Maximum I'm giving it 5. So that also you can decide in this document. So if you want to know more about this document, you need to follow this entire document and documentation. But currently, like in our project, like the basic requirement that I was told to do is just create one basic policy document in a project as a POC and just add and see if the instance are getting increased or not based on the memory use. So you can follow this a sample, you can just copy it, okay, a sample, and you can create one file within your project. So I will just create one file in my project that is policy.json. So this is again a JSON file, guys. And within this JSON file, you can paste, okay? And now you can decide like you can specify the memory. If your application is using like 100 MB or more than 500 MB, then automatically what adjustments will be done? That it will create +1. So +1 means it will create +1 instance automatically. Minimum instance is 1, which is currently for your app. Maximum how many instance will be created? 5. So if you're specifying 10, then based on the memory used, that instances will be created, guys. So if your value goes like 30, less than 30 and all, so automatically it will decrease. You see that you can specify in this policy.json file. Now currently this configuration I want to map to my project, and this configuration I need to map to autoscaler instance. So I need to go to mta.yaml file, and inside mta.yaml file I will scroll up and I will add autoscaler module first. Okay, so I have to give here name colon, and then you can just copy and you can just give a name as autoscaler. Okay, so I'm just adding one new module, under a module section. Now this module we have to define below. So you can just scroll down a little bit. Last, you can copy this piece of code from here. And again, we just need to paste it like this. And now what type of module it is? It is an autoscaler. We will copy again that the name. We'll scroll down and we will paste. That is the module. And now what type of it is? It is Cloud Foundry managed service. Okay, it is Cloud Foundry managed service. What is the service name, guys? Service name is Autoscaler. You can get this name from here. Yeah. So generally, I have seen one in documentations. They have specified Autoscaler. Just we have to use Autoscaler in lowercase. Just right here, Autoscaler. And what type of service plan it is? Standard. That's it. Okay. And one more thing. Now we created a policy.json file, right? This policy.json file we have to map to this resource, to this resource. That is, we need to add here parameters. And inside parameters, you will specify a path. And path we will just give dot slash policy dot JSON file. Okay, this is the path that we have to maintain. Okay, so yeah, I have added this now, and I'll just format the document using Shift Alt F. So make sure, guys, whenever you're adding this any change in this. Okay, so the parameters and all, everything is correct. Now path also is added correctly. And now we will just scroll down and yeah, everything is there here, service, standard. Now we need to build our project. Okay, what we need to do? We need to build our project and we need to see whether this service instance is getting created or not. Okay, so now this service will be created for this app, Autoscaler. So right click on MTA, build MTA project. I think wait, before that, let me install. Let me run a npm install. Yeah, and now I will right click on mta.yaml file, build MTA project. Okay, so enter. And now I will right click on this mtar file, which is generated, and right click and deploy MT archive. Okay, so yeah, it says your free tier usage limit exceeded. Upgrade to standard plan to continue with the deployment. So what you will do here, you need to do one thing. Just copy the mtar file path and just run cf deploy command and paste it. Okay, this process you need to follow, guys, if you are getting the usage limit error, and then enter. It will start the deployment. Now it will create a service instance. Okay, so application is deployed now. I'll go back and I'll reload this once. Okay, so now if I scroll down, guys, can you see this equipment system app Autoscaler? Can you see this here? Okay, and this service, it's already linked with the SRV. So now if you open, it will open Autoscaler dashboard. Just you need to continue. So this is application Autoscaler dashboard, and you can see this.